Anyway, Alhaji, yesterday, I'm guessing you watched your colleagues, your former colleagues in Parliament, go through the motion of moving a motion of censure, first time ever, and then the decision of the Speaker. Your general opinion?
Well, my general opinion was that I thought that the Speaker would have allowed the debate to continue and the vote taken. The Minister, if there was need for a suspension of sitting to allow the Minister time to be in Parliament to also be heard in his defense, then so be it, so that the matter would have been concluded yesterday. I thought that vote of censure is such a serious matter that you don't defer it. You don't assign it to your committee. There must be special reasons why you have to give it to your committee. Other than that, you determine it in a day or two. I mean, at most 3 days is determined, and the country moves on.
What about the argument that perhaps the minister might want to use the services of a lawyer who advise him on how to defend himself in this kind of situation?
These are the special circumstances. So these are what I refer to as special circumstances. So when you read Article 82, and when you read Order 106, there must be special circumstances that might warrant a member of Parliament to move that the matter be referred to a committee. Other than that, the Constitution is very clear. I mean, the matter is debated on the floor of the House. The standing orders is clear. It's debated on the floor of the House. Or referred to a committee by a motion moved by a member. You see? So if there are special circumstances to warrant a member to say, well, in view of these special circumstances, one, the minister wants to be represented by a lawyer. Two, the matter requires detailed investigation. Three, the details accompanying the allegations are viva voce. We want it in a paper. I mean, we want it documentary, and so those who are making the allegations should bring, and they have to bring it before the committee to assess the credibility, veracity, and custody of the documents before it can be presented to plenary. And so these are special circumstances. Other than that, vote of censure is of such a nature that you want it concluded in time.
So what the Speaker should have done is perhaps state those special circumstances that is...
the Speaker is a presiding member. He doesn't state anything. That's why the Order 107 talk about the Speaker. It talks about a member of Parliament. So if the Speaker's attention is drawn to special circumstances by a member of Parliament through a motion moved when the matter has been debated, then elucidates the special circumstances in such a way that the Speaker is convinced, then debate on the motion to refer to a committee is hard. Then the Speaker puts that to a vote, and then it is determined by the members of Parliament.
But I also realize that in most cases, in your standing orders, they have they have expanded on the procedures that should be followed in this kind of circumstances. But yesterday, listening to your former colleagues, it looks like they were not clear on how to proceed with it.
Well, it's probably the nuances, because even the Constitution is very clear on it. The Constitution says that a motion against the minister must be filed by a member. That motion must be in Parliament for 7 days. So it's a notice that motion will be debated within 14 days. So what again procedure do you want?
So you reading through Article 82 is so clear enough.
It's not so clear. I mean, so you file it. When you file it, it cannot be debated until it does 7 days in Parliament. And then, but the matter must be debated within 14 days. So it's clear. I mean, so, and then when it is being debated in Parliament, the minister must be heard in defense. So that's a rule of natural justice, that you are subjecting the minister to a ministerial censure, the highest form of punishment Parliament can visit on a minister. Because Parliament doesn't appoint the minister. It's the President who appoints the minister. Parliament cannot remove the minister. Parliament, by extension, if the President nominates and the Parliament approves of the minister, and the President appoints such a minister, the people of Ghana can no longer remove the minister. The only opportunity the people of Ghana have to remove the minister is through a vote of censure by their representatives in Parliament. By their representatives in Parliament. And so that is the procedure.
But if you look at the grounds that were put forward, perhaps maybe the Speaker felt that some of the grounds needed an inquiry. You're talking about him benefiting from borrowing himself, things that involved an offshore account, among others. Should that not be subjected to some proper inquiry where he have the right to defend himself?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the allegations contained in the motion paper are not weighty enough for a referral to a committee. No, I'm not saying that. Far from that. I'm saying that the procedure is that a member of parliament ought to have raised those issues. And you realize that when the matter was being debated, when the speaker said he has come to the conclusion that the matter will refer to a committee, the majority leader sought to reconcile it. Article 106 with what the speaker has said and moved, if we were watching the proceedings, and moved that this matter be referred to a committee. He said, oh, I support what Mr. Speaker you have said, so I'll move that the matter be referred to a committee. However, it was truncated because no one supported the motion.
Because I realize Honorable Apenyamakins also raise same issues. Should that not amount to a member of parliament raising those special circumstances?
He raised the issue. He raised the issue as a preliminary matter, but he did not move a motion.
So he should have moved the motion properly.
Yes, properly, so-called. That look, these matters contained in the order paper are said that one, in my view, they are, and I'm trying to recap what Afenyamakins said, in my view, they are criminal in nature, and two, the notice indicated in Article 82.4 and the fact that the minister shall have the right to defend himself, it will not be properly satisfied, and the defense will not be in accord with fair trial if we don't refer it to a committee and give the minister ample opportunity to defend himself. And so, and the committee then reports back to the House. So, in this regard, I think special circumstances exist for us to set up an ad hoc committee or refer it to one of the standing committees of Parliament for detailed investigations into the matter. That would have been properly moved and debated and put to a vote. And those who, if the vote is carried, the matter is referred.
But that is made. The Speaker has already set up the committee. So, what are your expectations?
Oh, I have been really I have dim expectations of what will happen in the committee meeting. Very dim expectations. In view of the fact that the both parties, the majority and the minority, deploy a 3-line whip. You recall? Yes. The MPP party even issued a statement saying that their members should abstain from any debate on the censure. In fact, when I read it, I was taken aback because when they say abstain, doesn't mean they can participate in debate but not vote on the matter. And so I saw them debate the matter. And probably I was right in questioning what abstain is. But the sources haven't deployed 3-line whips, haven't been directed by your party to abstain. The NDC minority party haven't deployed a 3-line whip. And I stood their grounds in the face of stiff opposition from the majority. I failed to see how a compromise can be reached in a committee meeting of 8 people.
And is that not where perhaps this move by the Speaker will give them a lot more time? Because if you listen to the majority so far, they say the intention of the minority, where they are referring to some of the grounds being put forward, it looks like there's disagreement with the grounds that the minority is putting forward by the majority. If at the committee level there can be some agreement as to grounds that are acceptable to everybody, will that not essentially get that buy-in of the majority?
Well, recent events recent events in Parliament do not give me that comfort. And if you are prepared to invest your resources and betting on whether there will be a compromise there, you will be taking a very high gamble.
It's interesting because but are you so surprised that the majority, even when they were addressing the press yesterday, Honorable Ofori, was still even talking about the fact that they were standing by their position, that they were going to create a hostile environment for the minister if he's the one who turns up in Parliament to read the budgets.
Yes, but they are saying that, but they are not prepared to support a motion of censure. There are two different things there. I mean, they are saying, look, we don't want the minister. We want the president to exercise the powers conferred on him as president by the Constitution to remove the minister. But that's different from saying that we want a ministerial censure to censure him, to remove him from Parliament.
Well, what's the difference in the end? If the president removes him or Parliament removes him, is it a removal?
The consequence is the same, but the routes are definitely different.
Well, but what's your own opinion? Should this minister be gone by now?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's lost credibility. I mean, if you are a minister and there's so much controversy surrounding you and the way you have managed your portfolio, I mean, I think the minister should have been well advised to just step aside. See, whatever he does now, whether the vote is carried or not, I mean, he will still have lingering doubts in people's minds. And he has been so discredited that I don't see how he's going to regain his credibility. In my view, the minister should have just gone.
But I want you to, because you are a former member of Parliament, looking at the way, did the Speaker handle with the reservations you raised? He called it historic. But did he fail to create a precedent that will stand?
Oh, yeah, I think that the Speaker, in my view, the Speaker entered the fray of debate. Nobody invited the Speaker to refer the matter to a committee. The Speaker did. The Speaker himself asked Mubarak to apologize to him. Nobody raised an objection as to what the Mubarak was doing, no member of Parliament. The Speaker himself raised that and asked Mubarak to apologize to him. And the Speaker himself went ahead to rule that the matter is what he said be expunged from the record. With the greatest respect, I disagreed with the Speaker on that. The rule says that the decision of the Speaker can be challenged. And it must be challenged by a substantive motion. There's no rule that says that the decision of the Speaker cannot be criticized. There's no rule in Parliament that says that. You might criticize and disagree with the decision or ruling of the Speaker and choose not to exercise your right to file a substantive motion to set it aside. But because that's Parliament. Now to suggest that if you rule, no one can criticize it or disagree with it, is to descend into the arena of tyrannical rule. And I thought that that should not happen in Parliament. My stay, and I have not stayed in Parliament long enough like Bagbin, the Speaker, but my stay in Parliament clearly indicates that at any time you disagreed with the Speaker, you said so on the floor of the House. And if you chose to go further, you could file a motion to set aside the ruling. Because the ruling of the Speaker becomes precedent. That is why in a very serious matter like vote of censure, the office of the Speaker should have researched properly the procedure to guide the Speaker in the conduct of the affairs of Parliament. Now, next Speaker, when a vote of censure is filed, will rely on the precedent set by Bagbin to refer it to a committee, unless it is fought seriously, and then he can depart from that ruling. That is why parliamentary precedents are not set lightly. That's where I disagreed with him, and he ought to have let the debate flow. I mean, the very high bar that has been set for ministerial censure means that to remove a minister, 2/3 of this country must support you through their representatives in Parliament. It's very high. And so you let the debate flow to guide future ministers that what is happening to this minister can happen to them. And this is the procedure that they will go through. So I was looking at the president creating a historical development that was taking place in Parliament. and the consolidation of our democracy.
Well, let me read to you a message from Seydou Shaibu, who says, I think Speaker is playing father of all. So now every Ghanaian knows what is going on with the finance minister. So all this committee things is going to quench the fire. Do you agree?
I said that recent events that I told you not to bet your resources on the committee. I told you. So because you see, just recently we are still dealing with Adjosafo. Why are we still dealing with Adjosafo? It's committee. Why is the committee unable to resolve it? Because of the division. What is different from that committee and the other committee that has been set? In fact, in that first committee, you even had a majority. In this other committee, there's no majority. It's 4-4. It's 4-4. Co-chair. So, I mean, we just have to wait for wonders, not so.